salutations, listener. 'Tis I, Eric J. Chuckie, and the power of the boys infused in my spear.
Hey, what?
So, let's do that song and dance we do before flapping our jaws. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell your friends so they'll think you're cool because you're into this totally underground podcast thing with totally obscure music by a totally independent recording artist maestro like Super Blizzard. His Shining Was Auto Track, Let's Get Hardcore is our theme song, if you didn't know by now. And you can buy it and more at his Bandcamp page. Link is in the description and at the end of the video. Please do. He's actually making a game right now, I believe called Puppet Kingdom, and he could use the funds.
That sounds neat.
I can't tell. But, yeah, it sounds neat.
Alright. So, listener, we originally we're going to do this episode on E3. Then we realized something very important. Neither of us give a fuck about the majority of the games that are coming out or have been announced this E3. So...
Yeah. I'm not going to do the thing I did last night where we started singing Prime Time of Your Life. But that was pretty tight, and if we had a third friend, they totally could have done the words. Anyway. Yeah, E3's lineup was like, there's a couple cool things. There was some stuff I was really interested in hearing. I was already psyched for Smash Brothers. I was already psyched for Dragon Age. There's not really anything else that's...
No. You will probably hear us talk about those things when they actually come out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we decided to do this episode on fighting games.
Yes! Fighting games.
In anticipation of us getting back a hold of Street Fighter.
Yeah. Tomorrow, well, when you're listening to this, today it's free on Xbox Live Games with Gold. That and Charlie Murder, which is a beat-em-up, which, as I could tell, was not quite as good as Scott Pilgrim, but looked really fun. So I'd recommend getting that, too.
I mean, after all, if you have gold, it's free, so...
Yeah. I mean, I've been taking advantage of that. Just today, I tried out Gears of War for the first time, and was underwhelmed. I prefer Army of Two. But, yeah, fighting games. Just today, actually, as a little warm-up for the show, we played a little Injustice. I think that's maybe not our personal favorite, but a good middle ground between our fighting game styles.
Because we both have games in the other person's style that we can deal with. But we have preferences in terms of fighting games, and they're not really aligned all that much. I've always been a Soul Calibur series guy. Tekken and Soul Calibur. Those games are what I think of when I think of a good fighting game. Whereas this dude is more Street Fighter. More super mega awesome combos.
Well, no, not necessarily, actually. I mean, I like a lot of fighting games. Like, the shitty era of crappy N64 fighters, I enjoyed. Just because seeing all the different concepts people had, I rent games and have a lot of fun. One of my favorite fighting games of all time is Mace the Dark Age. And, I mean, like, those of you out there who have played it are going, what? Right now. But I loved that game. I thought it had such personality. And more than the actual way the games are played not being my speed, it's the character content in Tekken that's not my speed. Used to be, we settled on Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur was kind of our joint.
Yeah, it was the best middle ground. It was a good combination of the things we both like about fighting games, and we could play it very differently and still be on roughly equal terms. Unlike Marvel vs. Capcom, which we can play very differently and not on equal terms.
No. It's an uphill battle for me, because we play 3. So he uses the
simple controls, which control like Smash Brothers, and he uses the actual real people controls for people who don't suck at video games. And unfortunately, that means I usually beat his ass, because the game I'm playing is much easier than the game he's playing.
I've tried using the simple controls just to, meet him on his terms. But it's too limiting for me. All of the variations you can do, changing directions of attacks, changing intensity of your hits versus speed, that being stripped away in favor of automatic combos and easy access to power moves, it loses something.
You also lose a bunch of the power moves and
Yeah.
a lot of the flexibility of the movesets. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying that I don't feel like learning how to play Marvel vs. Capcom. So
Yeah. Now, Marvel vs. Capcom, it has a good roster. I think that's why, even though I barely ever win a match, I still really enjoy playing it because it's got such a great cast of characters.
by contrast with Soul Calibur, we play very differently, but that's actually to our benefit because we're both playing the same game, so we end up being on very even terms. My end of Soul Calibur is much more about strategizing and being able to know when to try and make a hit, whereas he has slightly better reaction time with blocks and guards, so he ends up being much more about the guard impacts in the last one, not 5.
Yeah, and 4.
In 4.
I was awesome at 4. I love playing Soul Calibur 4. 5, I know the roster changes were a big turnoff for most people with Soul Calibur 5. And, the longer the game went on, I really started to feel it. At first, it wasn't a big deal. Because there were still plenty of characters that I could play, that I was comfortable with.
There were characters who were basically the same character again, just with a different skin.
Yeah, and I'm talking more movesets, because we never really used the default characters. We made our own.
Yeah, and even when we did use the default characters, I'm not really super attached to any of them. About the only character I'm attached to in the Soul Calibur series is Mitsurugi.
Oh, I like a lot of the characters in Soul Calibur. I just like stuff I made up more.
Yeah, for me it's more about the gameplay, like leaps and bounds.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, just the lack of movesets really starts to hurt the replayability. And I'm not saying we didn't play it for like 6 months, because we did.
Yeah, we straight up did. It was an every night thing for at least a solid 4 months.
Yeah, and then probably about 2 months collected, the dwindling from there. But they changed those guard impacts, and that really fucked me up. And just, the longer we played it, the more I really noticed that we were missing a good, healthy chunk of the roster. And,
their replacements were not as much up to snuff.
Well, I mean, it was a lack of variance, We're used to having, 4 more characters at least? 4 more individual characters? Because say what you will about Cassandra and Sophidia, they use the same weapon, but they have different movesets.
Whereas this time we got, 3 of the Cassandra Sophidia type characters. I think it was a different name. And I know 2 of them, and then 2 of the guy. They use very different movesets, the 2 of those.
Yeah, well, I forget her name off the top of my head. It was something, I remember Patroclus.
Yeah, Patroclus uses 2 very different movesets.
Yeah, one is Setsuko. Setsuka?
Setsuka.
And the other one is, it was pretty new. I liked it a lot.
I liked regular Patroclus more than Alpha Patroclus, the Setsuka moveset, because without the guard impact, Setsuka's moveset isn't nearly as good.
No, I rocked ass with her. She was my go-to in 4.
She was actually the moveset he had on the created version, create a fighter version of himself.
Yeah.
And whereas mine, they honestly, from 4 to 5, the moveset that I use, that I'm the best with, they buffed. They made Raphael better.
Oh yeah, Raphael's tight. He does more damage now. And he's still fast, because the whole game is faster. Which I did like.
Yeah, they brought everyone else up on his level, so they gave him a boost in damage.
Oh, and the character creation mode, is just far superior to the previous game.
Yeah.
Just wholly superior. I've had a lot of fun just messing around with that. Made a lot of League of Legends characters.
Darius was fun.
Darius is cool. Shaco's still my favorite that I made. But yeah, it's just... You can kind of tell that Namco Bandai is sort of trying to figure out what they were doing as a company.
Where they wanted to go from here.
Yeah, because, that was right around the time when they were like, hey, let's do Street Fighter X Tekken. And they were like, cool, we'll do Tekken X Street Fighter eventually. So, I'm hoping that Soul Calibur 6, in fact, I'm pretty sure Soul Calibur 6 is going to be a return to form. This is a low point in the series. which, you know, is still better than a lot of shit out there.
It's still better than a lot of fighting games out there.
Yeah, but it's something big is coming, I feel. If they beef out that character roster a bit, make it... It doesn't even have to be as crazy it was in Soul Calibur 3, where you had your full roster and then, like, 10 move sets just for created characters.
That was wacky.
Oh, man. And if they did it, awesome. You know, definitely. Sweet. Great. I'm looking forward to it. But even if you just give us what we had in 4, I'd be satisfied. You know, not necessarily the same characters, even though I'm sure lots of people would love to see Zoslamel again.
Please? I was actually really good with that moveset.
But, you know, just give us some more variance, some more depth.
I did like the Ezio.
Yeah, Ezio was cool, and I might have liked him more if you could use him for creative characters, but I don't have any strong cleaving to Assassin's Creed. Like, when it was the Star Wars guys, as dumb as that was, it was cool because they were Star Wars guys, and I like Star Wars.
Also, Yoda was broken.
Yeah, Yoda was stupidly broken. I had fun with Vader, though. Like, I started to get really good with Vader just before we stopped playing the game.
I think the best one I had was Starkiller. I was the best at him overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I was better with Yoda, but Yoda was broken, so I don't count that.
Right.
Honestly, though, Soul Calibur is probably still my favorite fighting game.
Yeah.
Because it used to be Tekken. Fun fact, I used to be the lord of Tekken. I was really good. There were entire year periods, more than 5 or 6 years, where I didn't lose a match. I've lost all that. I don't know what happened. I stopped playing it, and now I basically lost all my juju. I'm still okay, but I cannot compete on the level that I used to. It makes me really sad, actually.
Yeah, especially since you never did like any actual competitive Tekken with that.
Yeah.
You can get some cool prizes doing that shit.
And I never did, and it was when I was young, and my reaction times were better.
Yeah.
But
I like Tekken. We have Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And I've had a lot of fun with it.
I love that game. Don't get me wrong.
But here's the thing. As many characters as there are in that game, there are more fighting styles I like than characters. And I like to have a connection with my character. You know, I don't want to just be like, okay, these are the stats I like. It's a potato? Fine, I'm a potato. You know, I want to be like, oh, these are the stats I like. Cool, I'm a potato. But in Tekken, there's like, you know, it's like, what, 50, 60 guys? 80 guys?
There's so many.
200 guys?
And they all have different movesets. And even the ones who have similar movesets.
Yeah, they're very slightly different.
Yeah, have very slightly different movesets. And I love a bunch of them. I'm actually decent with a bunch of them. I'm best with the Gordo clan.
Yeah. Oh, man, fuck you.
I'm still actually... That's probably the biggest slice of my powers I have left.
Because we play... What is the tournament mode? Elimination? Like
team mode, where you pick a big roster of like 10 fighters each and do elimination-style battles. And they have 3 Eddie Gordos in that game.
Which, you know, we only have 2 Warongs, and... Which is not even really 2 Warongs. It's Warong and, that's Bake, isn't it? Bake Du-san?
I think so, yeah.
Which I like. That they have kind of different movesets, kind of the same. I also like, Violet and Lee.
Because it's just 2 Lees.
Yeah. Lee was my guy, well, Violet was my guy in Tekken 4, and I actually had that one. I had Tekken 3 as well, but I use Hwoarang in that. I mean, Hwoarang's my go-to guy in Tekken.
In the same way Eddie Gordo is in Tekken for me.
He's not necessarily my best guy, but he's my go-to guy. I really like Miguel. Miguel is for punching what Hwoarang is for kicking. And I appreciate that.
I love Bob.
Yeah, oh man, you're a terror with Bob.
I actually really like Bob. I love the speed of his moveset. Fat Bob or Slim Bob, I'm pretty sure their movesets are the same.
Yeah, they're pretty similar. The character I found out that I really like is the old butler guy. whose name escapes me.
Old butler guy, then who it is.
Yeah, and, damn it, what's his name?
Dragunov.
Yeah. Oh, man, he's fun. That's a guy whose character I get into.
Fuck you.
You're lucky there's only one of him.
Yeah. He's blasted through half my team with just Dragunov.
Well, he's very similar to Zod in Injustice in terms of that really careful build. You know, not necessarily a high defensive moveset, but he needs you to come to him. And that's how I play in fighting games anyway. Is you come to me. Unless you're going to stand over there and spam Hadoukens at me, then I'm going to come to you and you're going to have regrets.
Hi, that's me. Because I also play generally against other people who aren't him. I play very much stand in one place, let you come to me. I'm more inclined to duel with someone by having them come to me, countering whatever it is they're doing and attacking, and then backing up some more than I am to, blast at them. Against him, I can't do that because my only recourse is he just stands there. We just stand there and stare at each other until the timer runs out, or if it's infinite time, until one of us gets bored. My only recourse is just spam Hadoukens at him.
Yeah. Which you can't really do in Tekken and Soul Calibur. They force us to fight you ninnies.
Yeah,
so,
which makes us happy.
Yeah, I mean, that is nice. I like power moves and stuff, but
And that's my real problem with, Tekken, or not Tekken, but with Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom and...
Street vs. Capcom?
Yeah, Street vs. Capcom. And Mortal Kombat to a slightly lesser extent.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat to a greater extent.
Well, no, I just like the characters enough in Mortal Kombat that I'm okay with it.
Oh, yeah.
But...
Yeah, I like Mortal Kombat even more than Street Fighter. There's some characters in Street Fighter I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this guy. But Mortal Kombat, man, all those guys are cool.
Yes, they are.
Have you seen the trailers for Mortal Kombat 10?
I have not.
Master Blaster is a character.
It's
a little guy on a big guy. And it looks pretty tight.
I'm so in favor of that, I can't even properly express it. But I don't know whether it's not good at them or don't have the patience to learn them, what have you, but I hate fighters that are so heavily focused on chaining together super combos and juggling your opponent to death with super combos that are, once you're stuck in the chain, completely unblockable and impossible to stop. I hate those so much that it just sucks me right out of the game and I stop wanting to play at all.
See, I don't disagree with you. Like, when I play Marvel vs. Capcom online, it's an entire fight based around me trying to keep my opponent from starting one of those combos. Because that's what it is. It ends up being like that fighting game from the PlayStation, where it was like one hit and you died.
Oh.
Or like Deadliest Warrior.
Yeah, Deadliest Warrior.
Yeah, for a more modern example. Really...
By the way, we played way too much of that
game.
Yeah,
that game was really
bad.
Not great, but fun. And for $10...
hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot like that. It's a lot like, not so much a karate match as you would see in a movie. It's more who hits first, who gets their super combo off first. And I like combos.
I also like combos because one of the things that made me so good at Tekken is because I can air juggle really well. But I still can air juggle pretty well.
Yeah.
I've juggled like half your health bar away.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I've had to come back by carefully and conservatively poking you and then jumping in and punching your shit and then leaving again.
So that I didn't air juggle you again.
Yeah. Or baiting out your juggles. But when it's so final... See, even on any fighting game I play, I want us to both have the max health. I want this to go on as long as humanly possible. Kill the timer... Let's you and I fight.
Just because it's a more genuine test of skill that way. I actually agree with him. Unless that's the fighting game's gimmick, like with Deadliest Warrior,
sure.
Where it was, I got off one spear, you're just a dead man now.
I got off one spear and landed a good hit.
You're dead. unless that's the gimmick, I like big, long, protracted fighting game fights because those allow for the most ability to come back.
Well, and beyond that, it's the most gameplay. Look, I like all the little intro scenes, and I like the little ending things. I really do. And I like changing up my fighter some, but I also want to play the character I selected for more than 12 seconds.
And in those 12 seconds, block 4 moves, hit 4 moves, and then they hit the beginning to their super combo, and you lose. Good day, sir. It's frustrating, it really is. And that's actually one of the reasons that I'm growing to love Injustice. I did not think I'd like that game when they were pitching it, when it was being sold, despite the fact that it was being sold by people whose opinions I trust in video games, but I just did not think I was going to like that game. But then I actually got my hands on it, and it's really fun.
Furthermore, I believe this is going to be your gateway into Street Fighter. And if we can get you into Street Fighter, we might be able to get you back to Mortal Kombat. Because...
Which would be nice. Because right now, us playing Mortal Kombat is just an excuse for him to curb stomp me. And make up for all the times. Because in almost every fighting game that we end up playing...
It sits about 60-40 your favor.
Yeah. Or worse.
Or worse, yeah.
Depending on the game.
Playing Mortal Kombat with me is like playing BlazBlue with you.
Yeah. I don't think I lost a BlazBlue match after a while. Oh my god.
After you figured out how to ride the ice cars. I'm sitting there with Arakune just being like, yeah, this character's cool. He's dead. He's dead because ice cars.
Oh my god, that game was so broken. I mean, it was still in my favor before I discovered the ice cars.
Yeah, but as much as anything is, your twitch reflexes are a little bit better.
But
you also bait me better.
Yeah. Once I discovered the ice cars, which, Google it, I can't explain.
It's not worth it. Just, Jin Kisaragi?
Jin Kisaragi.
Ride the ice cars.
Yeah, just... That'll explain it better than I ever could. That move is so hilariously easy to do. I once beat him in an entire fight with one hand on the controller, one finger on the controller, pressing a button over and over. No directions.
I don't even think you were looking at the screen.
I wasn't. I was laughing too hard to look at the screen.
It was just like...
I was literally pressing one button over and over, and he lost.
And it's not like I was like picking some stupid-ass character I wasn't good with, like Bang Shishigami or something. No, I was playing Arakune. Arakune was my best character. And you were just like...
Ice cars, ice cars, ice cars. Because the thing auto-targets and goes back and forth, and... automatically targets wherever the enemy is and just goes halfway across the screen and does a bunch of damage and stuns people. It was it was so bad they had to release another version of the game where it had been nerfed.
Well, and it was a sequel to the game. It was like a 1.5.
Yeah, where they hammered out a lot of the shit that was like that. Like from what I understand, reading online, high-end gameplay, people who were very good at BlazBlue could easily shut down the ice cars. Because there's apparently like 2 frames where it's completely possible to just end it by punching them, and they knew where those 2 frames were. They hated Iron Tiger for similar reasons. Oh yeah, Tiger at high-end play was apparently just completely unstoppable.
And that's the thing, that brings me to League of Legends a little bit. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in the far-flung future when we're famous listening to this.
I'm going, what the hell are you talking about? You're wrong about everything.
Yeah, those characters aren't that good. You just suck. Yeah,
we suck.
We do. We're Bronze 5, man. We're Bronze 4 on a good day.
I'm Wood 3.
We're not living in your league. Things are different down here, okay?
We're worse at games.
Case in point.
Oh, yes, this should be... I know where you're going.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. We love long fights. We love playing the game for a long time. We love simpler control schemes that let us do a lot of free things. We love Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is a beautifully designed game.
One of my favorite characters, if not my favorite, is Ganondorf, who is consistently the worst character in the game.
Just tier Z, do not pick, not beyond joke tier. Insulting your opponent if you try and win with them tier. And he whoops my ass with
I
Ganondorf.
love Ganondorf. There's so much hidden power in his moveset. Which, in my opinion, Smash is balanced a little more closely.
Smash is I would say crap tier in Smash is a lot better than crap tier in Tekken.
Yeah, the distance between tiers is not as strong. And Tekken Tag Tournament fixes a lot of that. The distance in that's not so bad. But yeah, I love Ganondorf. And, I mean, there are a few easy counters for him. So, I also played a lot of Snake. I played a lot of Sheik.
Whereas I played a lot of Ike. In Brawl, I love Ike so much. He's my favorite Smash Brothers character by far. He's generally middle of the road from what I understand tier-wise.
He's pretty good. He's one of the better ones.
Played a lot of Meta Knight.
The Meta Knight's like top 2.
Because Meta Knight is just amazing. Who else did I play a bunch of?
You play Pit now and then. Before you found Ike, your best character was Captain Falcon, though.
Yeah. I can land a Falcon Punch.
And I can land a Warlock Punch.
And that used to be, before I found Ike, our fights were basically just long, protracted, which one of us can land our punch or the Falcon knee first.
Man, we do a bunch of 100-man battles with, no health.
Yeah, we turned the damage up to 2, and...
So it was just
one Falcon Punch and you're gone. Not even the Falcon Punch, his flying uppercut, which is just that easy to pull off, you're gone. You're out of the arena.
Truth be told, I'm probably better with Sheik than I am with Ganondorf.
Yeah, because I can beat you when you're playing Ganondorf.
Yeah.
If you're playing Sheik and I'm not playing someone who's faster than Sheik...
Especially if it's a stage with walls.
I might as well give up now.
I hang out in the corner and look at you. What are we doing? Trying to fight?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, drop down, throw nine shurikens into my face, kick me off the stage, and go back to the wall.
Or better yet, Snake. I lose a lot with Snake because I tend to, for whatever reason, play Snake on some weird batshit stage we designed with no floor and slanty platforms everywhere or something. But
he's also, unfortunately, the stages we make tend to have a lot of vertical mobility. They're very tall stages, not necessarily even very wide, just very tall. So Snake's impossible to catch because his up B just takes him into the moon.
Well, but to be fair, I have so little control over where the hell I'm going with that. I've killed myself with that thing so much. It's not like Sheik's, which is very precise. The teleport is so precise. Snake's just I'm going up now.
But it takes you as a compensation to the moon.
Yeah,
Alex.
It does. Oh, man. I play a little DDD, too. Not a lot. I mostly play him, and then I hit crouch so that I nap.
He lays on his side up in the top corner of the map and watches me fight the computer.
Oh.
But,
I like Wolf, too, but we don't have him on our console. Originally, my mom bought the game. Here, come over to my house and hang out with me and play it. So I did.
Because, it's Brawl.
Yeah. So all of the unlocks and most of our crazy stages were on that console. And we never moved them. I was just I'll start over. Who cares?
Well...
And Wolf is one of the last unlocks you get.
Yeah.
I like him because I really like Fox's moveset, Fox and Falco. I used to play a lot of Falco in Melee.
I like Falco too. I ended up playing him occasionally. I played Pit more though.
Yeah.
I didn't play any of the Earthbound kids.
That's their jump is their up B is just so awkward. And it seems like in every game the Earthbound stage is the bullshit stage.
Yeah. It usually is the bullshit stage.
But anyway,
I'm looking forward to the next one. That was one of the few things from E3 that he just watched a video on a little while ago that made me happy. Apparently Mega Man seems right up my alley, to be honest.
Yeah, with all those projectiles instead of melee attacks, you're going to be a terror, dude.
Not a lot of juggling, and not a lot of mobility, but a lot of heavy engage and projectile attacks. I can work with that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get that, and then if you end up playing Sheik and end up being good with her new moveset, I can actually combat you by just saying, "Oh, well, you want to be over there? Fine, I'm just going to shoot you. I'm just going to Mega Buster you."
That if I suck with Sheik because of the new moves, that Greninja will be a decent replacement.
Yeah, from what they said, he's very fast.
But he's so big. Like, the hitbox is part of it for me.
Yeah, Sheik is...
Sheik can... Because I spent my whole time crouching, so I'm just this tiny little knot. I am worried about it, but I do like that Sheik and Zelda are separate, and my current speculation, and a lot of speculation, is that there's going to be some degree of move customization, so hopefully I can come up with something that's, to where the down B doesn't confuse the hell out of me or make me do something stupid. If there isn't any customization, I'm really hoping Sheik's good. I'm hoping Ganondorf's in it. Like, it seems stupid to think he's not, because all he is a very slightly tuned version of Captain Falcon. But Captain Falcon isn't in the game yet either. And they did the same shit with the last game, where, like, there were seminal characters they didn't talk about being in the game until it, like, released. And they were like, oh yeah, here's, like, Ness and everybody, by the way. It's making me nervous, though, because what if they're not? What do I do? Just before we started recording, I said to him, look, they've changed Sheik. They've changed... no, there's no Snake. There's just no solid Snake. Which I didn't think he was going to come back, but still, this was like my second most played character. And there's no Ganondorf yet. Oh, but you get Ike.
I do get Ike.
And Pit.
And Meta Knight.
I don't think he's confirmed yet.
I better get Meta Knight.
I could be wrong about that.
I love playing Meta Knight. He was so mobile.
I guess there's still Kirby, and I can still Kirby troll you.
Well, with that, I have one more life than you. Well, that means I win, because what's going to happen is I'm just going to swallow you and jump us both off the platform 4 times in a row.
That's what a winner looks like. No, I'm excited. We're going to be getting it on the 2DS.
Yeah, the 2DS is because no one in this household gave a shit about the 3D, but we wanted to play some of those games. We've got 2 of them.
We were just going to buy the Wii U for it. Like, for Smash. That was the plan.
Yeah, like, that was the only thing we were ever going to play on the Wii U. Like, we'd probably ever only own one game on the Wii U, which is Smash.
Well, honestly, with the new Zelda game trailer, is the first time I've looked at a Wii U game that wasn't Smash Brothers and gone, why?
Yeah, I don't want to buy a Wii U. I
don't want one either. I mean,
that's voting with my dollar. I don't want to give money to that concept. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not even saying it's bad, just not for me.
I'm hoping that maybe my mom buys it eventually, because she's a big Nintendo supporter, and I mean, with the new Mario Party coming out, her wallet's going to be itching. So I'm hoping that she'll get one, and I can just grab the new Zelda game and be like, I'm going to play this, okay? Because from what I understand, it's like Skyrim but Zelda. It's like the original Legend of Zelda game, but now.
Yeah, now graphics.
The open world, the go wherever the hell you want mentality. And it seems like maybe there's some more stronger RPG mechanics. I don't know about that. That's some guesswork, but it looks tight. But back to the topic of fighting games before we go too far into the Nintendo hole. Characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this a couple times earlier, but to me, characters are the most important part. We've done a lot of talking about mechanics.
Mechanics are important.
Mechanics are. But for me personally, more than story, because, stories to fighting games might be cool, but I don't give a fuck.
I'm here to punch shoots.
I like knowing what's going on, and in games like Mortal Kombat 9 is the one I'm talking about, the story can be really incredible. I'm sure the story is an Injustice. We haven't gotten to that point yet. We just keep fighting back and forth.
Yeah, we've just done verses a bunch.
Yeah.
I know what the story is, but I want to see it firsthand.
Yeah, I'd like to see it firsthand as well. But the story can be incredible, but that's not why I'm here. That's a bonus to me. It's a pretty sweet-ass bonus. But it's the characters that really get me in. And I mean that both in terms of what kind of kit they have, what kind of moves they have, what kind of fighting style they use, and what they look like, who they are personally, you know. I think that's really what roped me into fighting games in the first place, and that's why I can really credit Street Fighter for that, was because they had such interesting people, you know? Iconic looking people. And I'm talking about original arcade Street Fighter, where I spent, my stepbrother Matt and I spent $30 in quarters to beat the game with Blanca, with like a small crowd around us like, is that M. Bison? It's probably more like $20, but still, it was a lot of fun. And just like fighting those guys, like Sagat and Vega and Balrog, that you don't even see ordinarily.
Street Fighter it has very colorful characters. I can't take that away from them. I might not like the mechanics very much, but I cannot take the amazing iconography of the characters.
Yeah,
and they cut a very clear silhouette. You can look at a Street Fighter character and know who they are in 3 seconds.
That's true. I like how Mortal Kombat's kind of gone from being super palette swappy to creating these really deep characters out of those palette swaps.
Yeah, like Ermac is an actual character now.
I love that, and I love his character. Rain is, I mean, he looks, you know, they've taken the style of Edenia and really just gone with it for his character's outfit. You know, he looks like a prince.
And they I mean, obviously Scorpion and Sub-Zero have become very, very much characters in the intervening time. And
you know, here's something with Scorpion. I liked Scorpion in like Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't so fond of him in the more recent generations. I appreciate how the Mortal Kombat games have done better with theming their characters. Because, you know, back in Mortal Kombat 2 is much worse about this than the first one. But the first one had a little bit of it. Because the system was so limited. Even the arcade cabinet, the game, you know, what you could do with the game was so limited that their moves weren't necessarily mired in any resemblance of logic. Why does Sonya throw rings? You know, why does Kano turn into a cannonball and bounce around? So, I mean, it was cool, and we didn't care so much about theming at the time, but it does make a better game for these characters to feel like fully realized concepts instead of just a random pastiche of interesting tropes thrown together. And while they've done that for Scorpion, they've given him a lot more fire moves and stuff. I don't know. I liked him when he was a little less fiery. Like, I wouldn't mind, like a live Scorpion. Like how sometimes in a game where you can play as traditional Sub-Zero and then Smoke Sub-Zero,
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind there being like a living ninja Scorpion and then like flame demon Scorpion.
When living ninja Scorpion does more of like
just like the hook and the shadow kick, which he usually has anyway, but more stuff like that, less fire shit. I don't know. I mean, and they gave him Hapkido in like Deadly Alliance, and I didn't think that was a very good fighting style for him. It just really felt weird.
On him specifically.
Yeah, on him specifically.
Well, could be worse. You could be playing Bo Raicho.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, I don't get me wrong. I also think character's important. I think in a fighting game with non-established characters, like not a well-known franchise.
Sure, okay, yeah, if like a new game came out.
It's very important that you be able to understand who these characters are quickly and efficiently. Like, say, I'm trying to think of a good one. We'll do BlazBlue. In the brief time that we played it before I discovered how broken one of the characters was, you knew who these characters were. By the time the intro was done, the little two fighters doing their pose and fight, you could tell who these people were. You knew who Bang Shishigami was by the end. By the end of a round, you knew who Hakumen was. You knew what kind of character they were, what they were about. you understood the story of their character, not their character's story, but their archetype by the end of the first round. And that's really important in a new fighting game. Because you're right, that helps draw people in.
Mm-hmm. And it also helps you be able to play it. Because if someone comes out looking like Iron Tiger and fighting like Chun-Li, you're not going to have as much fun. Those surprises are maybe cool at first, but they get frustrating. It's harder to prepare for what you're about to combat.
And it's fine later. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't become frustrating as time goes on. It just starts out so much more frustrating that you have to get over it.
Right.
Like, if I didn't already know what Bob was, and he fights like Bob fights, it would have been like, oh, this is totally not what I was expecting when I picked a giant fat American. But there we go. Once you're used to it, it's fine, because you recognize that's Bob, he does this thing. But it's incongruous. It creates cognitive dissonance.
Well, but you're dealing with an established franchise there with Bob. You know, they're allowed to kind of go like, here's one dude who doesn't fight like you'd expect.
Mm-hmm. And I chose him specifically because he's a great example.
Yeah, he is a great example. I'll give you that. If you've got a whole roster of Bob in a new game, it's no fun.
It's just it's not going to draw you in enough to become fun. I'm sure they might be fun once you're used to them, but it's not going to draw you in enough for you to get used to them. Whereas a lot of the other fighting games that are left, unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of counterexamples because they're using characters who are very well established and situations that are very well established. Like, I would say Injustice does a great job of establishing who these characters are, but I'm a comic books nerd. I already know who all these characters are.
You know, there's one thing I will say about Injustice. Some of their attacks, the basic attacks, have really weird hitboxes.
You're right about that. Specifically, like Luthor's. Luthor's hitboxes are far out from his body.
Yeah, and like Hawkgirl and Bane are two that I noticed are really... Green Lantern, even, like, does like a flip kick thing. Like, especially with their charge moves. They start to wind up for something, and then instead of being like a lunging punch when they draw back, they hit the ground and kick you. Or, you know, like when Green Lantern, he rears back and it's like, yes, and then he does a front flip kick thing.
They're odd hitboxes.
They're really weird. That's like the biggest... That's the biggest thing that's stopping Injustice from being, like, you know, sold new favorite fighting game.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Sold best. No, it's solid B+.
Well, I wouldn't want it as WWE champion, so I suppose you're right about that.
I was hoping someone would pick up on that joke, and it's not going to be the listener.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to acquainting myself with Street Fighter again.
I'm not so much, but I'm gonna.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because A, you're gonna have an opponent who isn't whipping out super combos all over the place.
I really hate that. I really do.
I'll even be nice to you and not play Ken or Ryu.
Yeah.
Or Akuma.
Because I know how to do the Hadouken and the Shoryuken. And that's about it.
Which they're not even my favorite characters. Well, Ken's up there. But the Shoryuken and the Hadouken and Tatsumaki Senbuketsu, they're so ingrained in my head how to do them that for every super move the boy manages to pull off, I've already successfully pulled off 4. Like, that move set is so... that's when we play Marvel vs. Capcom and I actually get really close to whipping your ass, I'm playing characters who have that move set. That... There's a name for it.
The Ryu moveset.
He basically is what it means. Where they've got the quarter roll forward in a button, half roll back in a button, and the weird diagonally thingy. And a button. But, yeah, I mean, there's so much to enjoy about the fighting styles of these characters. And that's another thing that I think is really weird, that the pro scene is determined by who can pull off infinity combos that are hard to get out of or stop doing, or why would you stop doing them? Because it seems to me that it would be more interesting to watch a bunch of shitty players do it. Not people who don't know what they're doing and who, like, you know, have like a weird low kick out of nowhere and then stand around for a while and then the game pauses and they're like, hold on, I want to find out how to do the move. But I mean, like, mid-tier people I think would be more interesting because it's a trade-off back and forth. It's a fight. There's ups and downs.
Not like, well, he got into Bob's Unstoppable 19-move chain death.
Because all the videos I've seen on YouTube of pro-level gamers, it's just like, it starts like that, but then, like, after 4 hits, it's like, oh, and he got his infinite combo off on me. Well, that was a good match. Let's set up for the next one.
Which seems so anticlimactic. Like, I haven't seen many videos, just because I haven't looked, honestly, of high-level Brawl play, but I don't know, that might be more interesting. Because Brawl is very, like, high-ends is very much about avoiding attacks more than landing your own.
Yeah.
It's about, frame invincibility and...
Yeah, I think I'll actually might look up some of that a little later.
Because I think that would give a lot of the back and forth. Final Destination, no items is just a... It might end in like 3 moves and then a Meteor Smash, but that's going to take 10 minutes because they're just ninja dueling until then.
Well, and you've got so many lives, you don't have to reload to the start screen. Or to the character select screen.
You don't have to get out of the groove.
Yeah, basically.
One of the reasons I keep going on about this game because just mostly because we were literally just playing it, and so I'm a little amped up about it. That's one of the reasons I like Injustice because they have those 2 life bars, and we've both had situations where it's one of us completely curb stomps the first life bar off the other, and the other one comes back to win.
Yeah,
because you have that whole other life bar to to make it up, to come back to get in your groove, and I like that.
Well, and as I was saying about Street Fighter specifically, I think being against somebody who doesn't abuse those hyper combos, being against somebody who doesn't just sit there and spam super moves. I do it in Mortal Kombat as a method of survival because I played the arcade mode a bunch, but I haven't played the arcade mode of Street Fighter a bunch, so I'm not going to be doing that shit.
Yeah, because Mortal Kombat was just, alright, let's start. Alright, I get a high punch off, and then he's teleported around the screen 28 times, has just been uppercutting me the whole time. Somehow, even when he's in the middle of teleporting, he will show up and uppercut me while he's going to the other side of the screen. And then he does, like, a low kick, and I die.
That's about right. And that's fun if you've got somebody else who's that caliber, but
I'm really not.
No.
In the same way that until he's had enough time to practice with the game, when we start a new fighting game neither of us have touched, 8 times out of 10, I'm going to win the first 6 matches. Just easy.
Yeah, because I need to find out who my characters are.
Whereas my twitch reflexes, which are slightly faster than his, allow me to get early advantage stuff just from being faster.
Yeah, and I'm playing around. I mean, I don't mean that as detrimental or as a derogatory to you or anything. Like, if I wasn't playing around, I'd kick your ass. Clearly not. But, I'm trying even less hard than I usually do, and it doesn't do either of us any favors. You're just like, well, I can kick this guy's ass. And I'm like, I'm just trying to learn my buttons. What moves do I do? And especially with games like Injustice and BlazBlue, where all the characters have very unique personal powers, it does take a lot of time to adapt to that. That's something I really like about Injustice, is the personalization. The
characters are very different.
Yeah. I mean, even between Solomon Grundy, Bane, and Doomsday.
Yeah, they all have very different movesets. Bane's my favorite of the 3.
Yeah, if you don't press X. That X move, that shove, is stupid.
Not disagreeing.
Yeah, but everywhere else is awesome, and you juice up on Venom, and you're like, wah!
Beating someone with Bane is very viscerally enjoyable. And there is exactly one super combo in Injustice, just a straight up unstoppable super combo that I'd really love to know how to do. I'd like to sit down and practice and learn, which is the Grundy chain, Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, just him doing the whole chant whilst whooping your ass. I really want to know how to do that. Or I want him to know how to do it. I don't even care if I'm the one getting my ass kicked with that. I just want to see that happen in my presence.
It's such a core of Grundy's playstyle, and I just don't... I haven't been able to understand it yet. It's not quite like Astaroth in Soul Calibur, who is made of throws as well, but in a different way. I just don't quite get it yet. And I want to practice with it. And I want to figure it out. But I'm still finding my heels. I mean, we both are. You know, as much as we play it when we do play it, we haven't played it a lot. Certainly nothing compared to Soul Calibur.
4 hours maximum.
Yeah.
Whereas we probably have a combined several months in Soul Calibur.
Plus, there's, you know, history there. We didn't even play Mortal Kombat versus DC, but for maybe a collected half hour.
Yeah, Injustice does right a bunch of stuff that Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe did wrong.
Well, it's got a better roster.
Well, that, and it's just the controls are better in this game.
Oh yeah, sure.
Aquaman's broken. Just putting that out there.
Someday I will Zod the hell out of Aquaman.
It's
or Lobo the hell out of Aquaman. I
forgot
how to play Lobo today, and it was sad.
Yeah, because I played Aquaman and stomped him into the dirt. Not as bad as that last match with Bane and you were playing Batgirl. That was bowling shoe.
I wasn't playing Batgirl. I was playing Zatanna. No. Raven.
Raven, yeah.
I picked her on a lark. He was like, "I'll grab Bane," and I'm like, "Has he even played Bane? I'll play Raven."
Yes, I played Bane.
I don't like Raven in that game. She looks weird.
She looks like she looks in comics.
Man, I don't know. I've seen enough comic panels of Raven. I still think she looks weird.
That's fair.
I mean, out of the two of us, you're the one who's been more, you know, intimately familiar with the Teen Titans cartoon Raven.
I like that character. A lot, actually.
She just doesn't quite look right.
No, I mean, you're right, but...
That's the other thing. Usually with Soul Calibur, you know, we would fart around with characters for a while, and then we'd find our top 3, but for feeling froggy, not deviate from them.
Yeah, it would be... My last game was Raphael. Who was behind Raphael? I remember there were 2 specific movesets that I was... Ezio. I was really good with Ezio. And, Maxi.
Yeah,
Maxi, secretly my best character.
Secret weapon, Maxi.
Maxi is actually my best character in Soul Calibur. I just don't use him much because, well, it's not fair. It's not fun to win all the time.
Except you still use Eddie Gordo, Tiger, and Christy in Tekken.
That's a much more fair playing field. I've lost only Juju.
Yeah, I played Labello. I don't think I really played much of... Like, I just wasn't really happy with those moves. I think I
played Zwei a lot. But
yeah,
honestly,
I played Zwei a lot.
Zwei's moveset kind of blows.
It's just, it's not for you.
Yeah, not at all.
I played Edgemaster a bunch. This is like the first game where I've really... One would have thought it would have been the one with Old Cotton. But no, this is the first game where I've really played the Edgemaster move style a lot.
Yeah, we both ended up doing that a lot.
Because I made Go-Go from Final Fantasy VI and made him Edgemaster, because come on. And I played him a bunch. I've done a bunch with arcade mode, and, you know...
Then, of course, there was the infinite, never-ending challenge of trying to beat Hakumen, which you did, right?
Oh, Harada Tekken?
Yeah, Harada Tekken.
Yeah, I did it eventually with Lizard Man. Lizard Man was my other huge guy in this game.
Yeah, you were ridiculously good with Lizard Man.
Aeon Kalkos, I think they actually gave him a name in this one.
Yeah.
That's who I played a bunch. Lizard Man.
Yeah, I could not beat Harada Tekken. I tried everyone on the roster a bunch. I got real close a couple times, but I just could not. That rubber band AI, too strong.
Oh, man. Well, and you just basically have to out-spam it, out-cheese it. Because Lizard Man's got like a really easy access knockdown move that hits from above and does enough power. And I was playing like Olaf from League of Legends. So I had 2 axes. I guess Olaf grows wings and breathes fire as well now, but...
Hey, maybe it's a new one.
Yeah.
It's Ragnarok.
But, yeah, it was pretty tight. But we haven't done that in Injustice. I've got characters I kind of lean toward. Like, when I'm doing well with him, I'm really good with Lobo. I really like Zod.
I really love Green Lantern. Have yet to win a match with Green Lantern, but Green Arrow.
Yeah, Green Arrow.
Green Arrow is just the funniest thing in the universe.
I love that they keep track of your stats in games like Brawl and in Injustice, because I like to go back and see who I am actually good with. Like, before I got into Ganondorf, I played a lot of Bowser. I suck with Bowser, but I like him. But I blow with him. I never fucking win with Bowser.
In the same way that I loved who was like Pants with, who I played a lot in Brawl. I'm trying to remember, because there was at least one character who I played a lot. Lucario.
Oh yeah,
I love Lucario.
You played him all the time.
And I'm awful with Lucario. Just bad. Because I get all big balls, and I'm like, well, if I take more damage, I'll do more damage. That's good, right? It's like, oh, I took a bunch of damage. Oh, I'm out.
Don't play him in the new one, because they've made that mechanic stronger.
Like, he takes more damage, and does even more damage.
Yeah.
Oh, good, it wasn't strong enough for my liking last time.
No, I don't feel like it made enough of a difference last time either. But I think once we settle into our place in Injustice, we'll figure out what's going on. And once I sit back in a Street Fighter, I want to sit there and think that Vega's still going to be in my top 3. Last time I played Street Fighter 4, I played a lot of the new dude, the Turkish guy.
The wrestler?
The Turkish oil wrestler?
Yeah.
He's, like, weirdly good.
I remember I did see a lot of that one move where he, like, squeezes me in between his butt cheeks. I was on the receiving end of that a lot. That was uncomfortable for me.
You know who I was disappointed by? I usually like the Taekwondo characters in games like that. So obviously I'm talking about the Taekwondo character. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Give me a minute. But I was kind of disappointed by her. Juri Han. There we go.
You know what I was kind of disappointed by? Tekken.
Why are you disappointed by Tekken?
Or not Tekken. I keep doing that. Like, my mouth is just retarded right now.
He just wants to play Tekken.
No, I really want to play Tekken. Let's play some Tekken. No, I'm just disappointed by Street Fighter in general.
Street Fighter in general, yeah.
I don't have a favorite Street Fighter character. I never have, really.
Yeah, well, I'm about to learn you how to fight on the street.
Yeah. You're about to learn me how to lose 12 matches, and then we'll go, all right, you know what? Let's put Injustice back in. I won the last 4 of those matches. Let's play a game where I win.
Nah, come on, man. I am always fair to you when it comes to playing role-playing games. Or not role-playing games, when it comes to playing fighting games.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm saying that I don't think I'm going to be good at this game.
I think you're going to be a lot better than you think you're going to be.
He's Dumbledore to my Harry Potter. He believes in me.
Because I've had my ass whooped by you. I know what lives inside of you, and I think we can unleash it. Look, you're already memorizing quarter rolls as being a good go-to. That's really all it is. To play any fighting game well that follows traditional fighting game formula, you need to... Well, the Street Fighter formula. It's what the traditional formula is. You need to memorize quarter rolls, half rolls, and charge moves. Now, there are other moves. Sometimes there's people who have like a weird 360 thing. Sometimes there's this Z thing that I don't even understand. Lots of Vega's moves are like that. I don't care. I just stab you with my claw.
Down, up, back, forward, that sort of thing.
And then sometimes you have like the Shoryuken where you have to like do. But once you've got those things memorized, you can pick up a new character and go, okay, I need a projectile. Is it here? Is it here?
No.
Is it there? It
yeah,
is.
There's a projectile.
Sweet. Now I have this just in case.
Just in case White does that thing where he leaves and won't come back like a douche.
I love that new Lobo move I discovered where he very slowly dives toward you.
Yeah. Only not towards you, just slightly over you.
Yeah.
And then does a little action roll behind you. Just is a complete troll move, because I'm like, alright, uppercut, no, you're not, and you're not there. I see. Oh, then I'm going to walk over with Aquaman, cover myself in water for no real discernible reason. I have no idea what that does. And then I'm just going to hit you in the balls 1,000,000 times. Bang, bang, bonk.
I
bang,
think
bang,
I
bonk.
can beat you with Zod. I don't think we've done Aquaman Zod.
I will fight you right now. Well, we should probably first, but Aquaman's odd. We will do it. Oh, that's actually about it. I mean, we didn't really cover anything there wasn't a real driving topic. That was basically just us rambling about fighting games for an hour or so.
Well, that's what you're here for. This isn't a news source. We're not
No,
journalists.
do not come here for the news. One, we're always a couple weeks behind, and two, look, I'm still playing Skyrim. New gaming news is not really on my forefront.
This is, you know what? Here, this is our Two Nerds mission statement. This is your little after the episode bonus. All right. When I was at home alone, and we were doing a lot of, you guys were out working a lot, and I was working on like Colt and writing things, and available at Amazon.com, and. But I was at home, and I didn't see you guys a lot. I was getting kind of lonely. I was getting kind of like cabin fever. That's when I found Spoonie, and I watched those videos, and it was cool. You look at a lot of the comments in the Game Grumps videos, and they're like, hey man, you guys helped me through a really rough part. You like listening to Kevin Smith and his friends.
Yes, I
Their
do.
podcast, and those motherfuckers don't talk about anything.
I actually probably should have mentioned that in the first podcast. One of the big reasons we're even doing this podcast in the first place is because Kevin Smith said again and again and again and again, anyone can do a podcast. Anyone can sit in front of a microphone with their friends and have a conversation. There's no barrier to entry. Anyone can do it, put it up online, anyone can listen to it. And I took that to heart, really. I honestly, because call me conceited, I actually think I'm fairly entertaining as a conversationalist. And I thought, myself and my hetero life mate here are pretty funny dudes. We might be able to actually do something that isn't completely devoid of entertainment.
Well, and even if it's not super entertaining, sometimes it's just nice to hear other people talking near you. And we here with the listener, with our good buddy Ultimo Dragon, we're here. We're here for you to listen to. If you're like me and you don't have any motherfuckers around you who want to talk about Mega Man or Final Fantasy, in your shoes, if you have no one around you who wants to talk about wrestling, and you can come listen to us. We are going to tell you about what we thought about the pay-per-view every month until they take away the WWE Network.
Which, let's hope that's not for a long time, because that's way cheaper than buying the pay-per-views.
Yeah, but that's what we're here for. We're here to be a part of your conversation, and we're happy that you welcome us into your intertubes, because those tubes can get clogged with lots of weird porn and images of furry Sonic OCs, and we're in there with them.
And the weird Lion King OC, who's now going to be in an actual Lion King movie.
Oh, man.
Look, alright, that DeviantArt artist is just the luckiest man in the world.
I work for Disney now, he says.
I can make my DeviantArt OC the protagonist of a real live movie. And good for him or her. That's just, I assume it's a him because the OC's a him. But I'm proud of you. You got in. You did the thing that all fan artists want to do.
But, yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to be your pals abroad. We're here to let you listen to us talk about stuff. And if you ever have any ideas or suggestions as to what we should talk about, I mean, we've never really said this before, but send them in. I mean, we're more than happy to, so long as it's something we have a mild interest in, we'll take a look at it. We'll yammer for about an hour.
Yeah, if you, leave a comment. By all means, leave
comments.
A comment. And I'm probably going to read the comments, mostly because everyone I've ever heard talk about doing stuff on YouTube always tells me not to, which means I have to now. But yeah, leave a comment. If it's not completely outside of anything we actually want to do, then we'll probably take a look at it. If for no other reason than because you left a comment, you bothered.
Yeah. You can get your foot in the door. You can start talking about us and tell us what to do, and then later when we're big, you can be like, yeah, I told them to talk about Disney villains.
The thing that launched their podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, who knows how much you could help. And whatever topic it is, we're going to make it better.
Because everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!